Rug, and it's, you know, it does have Delver, and it is a Rug deck, but he's going a little bit bigger. He has 2 Jace the Mind Sculptors. His deck list has 12. It's like he's only playing 18 lands, so those Jace the Mind Sculptors are going to be really hard to cast for him, but it's looking like it's working out well for him thus far, because here he is, sitting at 5-1, coming into round 7, which we're watching right now.
Both these players, this is game 3. Yeah, like you said, you were describing this deck. I really like Verdilion Clique a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's good. It's an 18-land deck, though. That's
well, in an 18-land deck, no, but I'm talking in general for Legacy. How strong this card has been making a solid return, more of just one-ofs. It's now becoming 2-ofs in some decks and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really strong card. It's been seeing a ton of Legacy play for a long time. I think it's got to be the premier blue threat of the format. It's just such an incredibly powerful card. It can do a lot of different things. Just cycling a card out of your own hand is often very strong. So,
well, Davis does a turn 1 Scalding Tarn for an island.
Just fetching up that basic, trying to dodge the Wastelands of Kyle over there. Kyle is playing Wasteland. Only 3 copies of Wasteland in his deck, but he does have Knight of the Reliquary to help find Wastelands and kind of chain those together a bit. A Ponder, trying to set things up. Doesn't like what he sees and chooses to shuffle up his library. Going to draw a card, and we'll see what Kyle has for the first turn. All right, Kyle, it looks like he has a Mox Diamond. Does he have the number of lands necessary to make Mox Diamond worthwhile? Looks like he does. There's the Mox Diamond. Going to go ahead and discard a Horizon Canopy.
I believe you're correct on that one.
Yeah. So it doesn't get countered, and yes, he does go ahead and discard that Horizon Canopy. Sacrificing this Marsh Flats. Going to presumably grab himself a fetch land again, or maybe just a basic. He does have access to all the basics he needs. He knows that his opponent's playing Wasteland, so he just grabs some basic planes. And let's see, is this the turn 1 Stoneforge? Turn 1 Stoneforge so strong against a deck like Delver. But
yeah, he does have Stoneforge in his hand, and there it goes.
And does Davis have the days that he's going to need here?
There's the Force of Will.
Well, he's going to go ahead and force that, removing a Submerge from the game. Kyle Olson can't be too upset about that, though, because he's on the draw. He just got ahead on tempo, and now he's even on card advantage. So he essentially stole the play from his opponent with that Mox Diamond.
Looks like he picked up more lands.
Normally that Mox Diamond does put you behind in card advantage, just a big drawback of all that acceleration you get. But when your opponent casts a Force of Will on your turn 1 play, then you're in a much better spot. Grim Lavamancer, that's going to make subsequent Stoneforge Mystics significantly worse for Kyle Olson. Now he wants to start delivering up different types of threats. Cards like Knight of the Reliquary are becoming much stronger for him. Cards like Tarmogoyf are the cards that he really wants to be seeing right now. Kyle Olson, though, not happy to see a card like Grim Lavamancer. It's just so strong against his deck.
There's Top.
Top really good here for Kyle, especially because he has that fetch land in play. He can trade that Top in for a card on the top of his library and shuffle it away if need be, or he can keep the Top around and constantly be digging for more action. And whenever there's no more action, he can just shuffle his deck up.
Tax for 1.
Grim Lavamancer gets in for 1, which is, you know, fine.
I mean, if he's got nothing to do, he's got no activity to play with it, you might as well use Lavamancer for what it can do. It can hit for something. Oh.
Ooh, a Smash to Smithereens, and that's absolutely huge. A 2 for 1 there for Davis Merced. That Mox Diamond costs 2 cards for Kyle Olson, and you know, now he's taking 3 damage, and that Mox Diamond is going to get sent to his graveyard. Does he have a way to interact with this? I don't think so. At the top, I see, is that a Mazavith there?
Is he going to take one? Is he going to take one and put the top back on top? No?
No, you wouldn't want to do that right now, unless he had an additional top in his hand.
But how much does that hurt? I mean, that puts Kyle behind. The advantage that he had just gained went away by that one Smash to Smithereens.
Yeah, now he's back to being behind, and Davis Merced was able to get a 2-mana Stone Rain there and deal Kyle Olson 3 damage with that smash to spin the Reins. And Kyle Olson currently at, I believe he's at 15. And I believe now, after that fetch land, he actually goes to 14.
14.
Yep. So he's going to go ahead and grab a basic swamp, still playing around Wasteland here. And that could prove to be problematic if he draws a Green Sun Zenith or something of the like, and he doesn't have the Green Source in his hand. It does look like he has a Bayou, though. So he's going to be okay in that regard.
Okay, there it is.
And Nether Reliquary, and that's so huge against Rug Delver decks. Unfortunately for Kyle, Davis Merced's version of Rug Delver goes a lot bigger than the versions he's used to playing against.
So could this be a turn 4 Jace? We could be seeing that now.
I mean, a turn 4 Jace would be backbreaking. Bouncing that Nether Reliquary back to Kyle's hand. Let's see. Davis Merced. Actually, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so Nether Reliquary is a huge problem for him. All of his removal spells are damage-based.
Lightning
Nether
bolts,
Reliquary just gets out of range all sorts of direct damage spells so quickly.
There's the Wasteland. Ooh, it looks like he wants to pass turn, and he passes turn.
Yeah, and that's not good for Davis Merced. Clearly no Jace in hand for him. Not going to be able to bounce that Nether Reliquary, and he's going to start taking some huge hits here.
He's going to use top here to
see what we can find. And a lot of these players here are taking a long time with his top, and he's only got 8 minutes left. This game could still go either way, especially if Jace comes down. This game get extended. He wants to play really fast here. All right, does find the Wasteland. Gonna want to hit that Volcanic Island faster than you can say potatoes. It's the Volcanic Island. Davis Merced going to go ahead and tap that for mana. Kyle Olson probably just going to enter his combat step now.
Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt targets Kyle Olson. And it looks like Davis wants to try to race him. It's going to be difficult because Kyle has a 6/6 in play.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough direct damage. I mean, the Grim Lavamancers, and he's only got 4 Lightning Bolts. I mean, he could Snapcaster stuff in, but...
I mean, he doesn't even have a red source at this point.
No.
So he's not going to be able to Grim Lavamancer and cast Burn spells on the same turn for at least another 2 turns. That's only if he has double red source between his hand and the top of his library, and he only has 1 card left. So I think Davis is kind of just realizing that Knight of the Reliquary is taking this game over, and he's just about out.
And the fact he can still use his top to manipulate to what he needs to get to. Huh?
Yeah, and...
swings for 1.
Yeah, Kyle just dropping down to 10 here, but...
No land. He did not hit a land this turn. So he's still stuck on 3. No red.
And I mean, he's only playing 18 land, and it doesn't have that many red sources in his deck, so it's going to be tough for him to get out of this situation. At this point, he did get a little bit unlucky here, but he burned an early force. I think he may have even mulliganed, because he only has 2 cards left in his hand at this point. But Kyle Olson gets to draw all gas because of that top, has those shuffle effects, has Knight of the Reliquary, which is the best card against any Rug Delver deck. And Spell Pierce, going to take care of that Pernicious Deed. Let's see. An attack here puts Davis Merced to 6. And Kyle Olson not going to pop that fetch land to deal the extra 1 point of damage. Understands that another attack is lethal, whether or not he cracks that fetch land. He'd rather save that to get more action out of top.
Ponder.
And Davis is going to be shuffling unless the top of his library can help him win this game. And he did not shuffle. So it's looking like, I guess he's going to Snapcaster.
Just a block?
Chump block here?
Yeah, because he has no mana to bring anything with that. He can't even ponder it.
Yeah. Legacy this is just a Snapcaster chump.
That is time in round number 7. Active player, finish your turn and begin your 5-turn extension. Once again, Legacy Open players, that is time.
Takes out the land with the Wasteland.
Number 7.
Decides to get rid of that land. Submerge. That's not the worst.
Which, yeah, he'll take the card right away because he wants to get it back out there.
And that's actually a really tight play there by Davis. Davis using that Wasteland on Kyle Olson's fetch land, trying to bait him into sacrificing that fetch land in response. If he had done so, then Davis would have been able to submerge that Knight of the Reliquary back onto the top of Kyle Olson's library in response to that fetch land activation to get rid of the Knight of the Reliquary. Really tight play there from Davis, but Kyle Olson didn't bite. Continued to play tight and just put that fetch land into his graveyard without activating it.
And now he has a Dryad Arbor. That gives him 2 to swing with if he wants to.
Yep, and that's a Delver of Secrets. So Kyle Olson going to get to continue applying pressure with this Knight of the Reliquary. It's going to need to be chump blocked from every turn from here on out, but Davis Merced, if he is able to top deck a Submerge here on the next turn, it's very possible that he's able to steal this game. So let's see what happens.
Let's see if he...
Olson has to serve here. He's attacking for lethal.
He taps 3, and he's going to play
a choke, and that's pretty good against a deck like Davis's. Davis's deck is all islands as far as mana-producing lands go, besides Wasteland.
And he just jump blocked with the Lavamancer.
But I mean, at this point, the spells that David wants to be playing, cards like Submerge, they are.
Yeah, that's it. So
this packs it in. Kyle Olson goes on to be 6-1 here at the Star City Games Legacy Open in Minneapolis, Minnesota, piloting an interesting junk deck, which does not feature him to Turok. So here we are. Kyle Olson winning the match. Well done by him. Also well played by Davis Merced. Excellent job trying to bait that fetch land into Submerge, or the Wasteland into Submerge.
And we're back.
We're back. And
Robert Martin.
And I'm Jacob Van Lunen. And again, we're here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, bringing you guys coverage of the Star City Games Legacy Open. We just finished up round 7. Beginning of the round, we saw a Goblin deck dispatch of a Show and Tell deck, despite a really, really strange game 3. Then we watched a junk deck defeat a blue-red Delver list, and you know, he was able to just outclass him. Knight of the Reliquary is so strong against Rug Delver. Everybody who's played that deck completely knows that they know when a Knight of the Reliquary resolves on the other side of the table, they almost always lose. And
I mean, he tried to do everything he could with it, but he just...
Yeah, he even tried to get his opponent to sacrifice the fetch lands and to submerge in a response, but his opponent didn't bite. His opponent recognized what play Davis Merced was going